So this part of the video I'm going to show you how to carve off your back straps, which is in here right along the spine. Right now I have the torso, as you can see, the upper torso. I decided not to split it because I needed to measure the neck because I was going to I'm going to mount the deer, so I need to get some more measurements. So I decided not to actually cut the torso in half for the ribs or anything like that. I just knew that I was going to have just my my back straps off of here, and then I was going to carve some off the neck area, meat off of that, just for like ground. So I'm going to go ahead with this video. So the first thing I'm always going to do is sharpen your knife. You want to make sure that you have a really sharp knife. It'll help a lot. This deer has been hanging for about a week now, and it makes it a lot better to cut the meat off because it's cold, which deer muscles tend to be a little bit soft when they're first harvested, and after that you want to really chill it so it can get firm and it'll cut a lot better. But I'm just cutting just like you would on a fish, how you will fillet from the back of the spine off and fillet down. It's quite similar to that. So I've already cut a line down the center of this spinal cord, so I know exactly where that bone is. And you're just peeling back with your fingers and making little small relief cuts. And as you peel back, just keep your knife just barely along the bone, as close as you can without really just taking off any of the bone. And this is where sometimes a different size knife can really help, to really help relieve the muscle from the bone. And the muscles come to like a point. The bones come to like spikes. They have spikes on the top of them. So when the spinal cord compresses or bends, they'll come to a point like that, just like gears would. So it kind of like this, and then the muscles can actually move the spinal cord and have some flexibility. This is one of the things that really help a deer to jump vertically 8 feet easily. It's no problem for that. That's why they put extremely high fences on game ranches, so they can really keep the deer in the game center. So as I said, just cutting down, as you can see, then cutting around, just filleting that muscle right off of there. Now I made it a point to make sure that I didn't cut my white cap when I skinned the deer, because that's going to protect your meat. And as you can see, the meat is moist on the inside, and that's one of the most important parts of preserving your deer, so you don't lose any meat. Now that I've gotten it peeled back here, I'm going to cut along the rib cage. I don't really need this white cap down here. That's too far down. So I'll just lay my knife along the chest cavity and then cut back, just like you would, like I said, just like you would on a fish. And you're just working that knife back like that, and just over the bones. Make your relief cuts from the top. And I'm going to turn from this side now, so you guys can get a good look at it. So you're just pulling back and making your cuts as you go along. Just trying to make sure you keep as much meat as possible in there without cutting the ribs. And see, I cracked the ribs right there, as you can see. But just making sure I don't cut too much of my back strap off. Now I'm really getting a good solid back strap off of this. and I can see that I'm catching. See how the bones go back that way? They kind of feather back that way and overlay just a little bit. The cartilage does. So when deer breathe, it breathes in and goes down like that. So that's why it's a little bit more difficult when you cut back front towards the forward of the body. As you can see, it looks like fish gills almost. But when you turn it this way, you can run right across it. So here we have it. Now I have my back strap just like that. I'm gonna cut like all these little dark spots like that. You want to cut that off. That's where you had a little bit of hemorrhaging, and you want to make sure that you cut that out. That's blood that may have darkened. It starts to turn dark in the hanging process, so you want to cut all of that off. Trim all your fat off, and that's part of when you hang your deer for like a week. The fat gets really hard, so it's easier to cut off. That's really good. The white cap gets harder too. It's just like taking grease, okay, that you may have been cooking like with butter, and you let it sit for like a couple hours and it hardens up and turn white. Perfect. Same principle. So now, as you can see, I have my sirloin right off the back of that, and you can see the rib cage, as I was saying. So there, I will just do the same thing on the other side. And I mean, I could be really particular and cut the rest of this meat off to try and make some ground out of it, but it has so much fat on these bucks, like those big bucks. You know, it's just not worth my time. I don't want it to eat really gamey or anything like that, so I won't do that. So I'll cut off the other side and trim up the neck a little bit. There's a lot of loose muscles here in the neck, and you want to make sure. The best way to tell whether you have a really tender muscle is to press on it, and if it's soft, really soft, like it is here, it bounces back a lot. It's really soft. That's a really tender muscle, so you can go ahead and cut that off and add that maybe to your tougher meats to kind of lean it out if you're going to make ground. So that's it for this part.